One of the great things about living in Central Florida is the weather, and the weather yields perfect conditions for riding motorcycles. And you know, it's funny because these bikers, they like to ride, and they will find any reason to ride that they can. But one of the best reasons to ride is for a good cause, and that's what we're here to talk about today, is the Memory Poker Run. And with us in the studio to talk about it is Todd Cole. He is the founder of the Memory Poker Run. Chris Wilcox, he's joining us from the Alzheimer's Association, the Gulf Coast chapter. And then we have Lynn Cole, Todd's wife, who also is the co-founder of the Memory Run. Let's just talk a little bit about the reason that we're doing this. You know, you gave me a little bit of background ahead of time. Just kind of share with them.
Well, basically, 7 years ago, my mom passed away with Alzheimer's. At the young age of 66, and I wasn't fully aware of all the resources that was out, you know, and I found out later on that we did have a local chapter in our area that dealt with Alzheimer's patients and such, and so I went to them and asked them, would it be okay if I raised some money for them? And at first, they were very, very skeptical. You know, being a biker, and I kind of scared the guy when I went in his office. It was in January, and I was in full leathers, and he was like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" You know. But it worked out great for us the first year. I got some friends together. We raised, I think it was like $3,200 the first year out. In the past, this will be our 7th year. We've did a little over 48,000 in the past 6 years, and we've every year we have the people from the Alzheimer's Association come out. They're there at the end of the day. We present them. I have a big check that we present them at the end in front of everybody, and you know, it kind of makes it a nice day. And hopefully the weather's good. Last year we had a little bit of rain, but it wasn't bad. Wasn't nothing we could deal with. But yeah, it was. And it's just something, you know, like I said, with my mom and the disease, and I really didn't know how it would go. You know, I never even tried to even think of putting together a poker run before. I'd been on quite a few, but I never really put one together, and it worked. And as of right now, I mean, there's one other one that I know of in Polk County, but we're probably one of the largest ones in Polk County that goes on right now.
Now, when we were talking earlier, you had mentioned to me, you know, there's probably not anybody that can say, I don't know somebody, or I don't have a family member who's been affected by Alzheimer's. Chris, tell us a little bit about some of the statistics and things that we encountered right here in Polk County.
In Polk County, well, here in Polk County, we are sitting at about 15,000 to 16,000 people diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. That comes out to being about 1 in 40 people that have been diagnosed. As time starts to move a little bit further in the future, those rates are probably going to be, for this area, are going to be going up. And that's why having this poker run is really a vital, you know, importance for, you know, what we do and trying to serve these families, you know, care and support.
What is it that you know, clinically, what is it that happens with Alzheimer's? I mean, what is the disease itself?
Well, it's a progressive brain disorder that that hurts the person's ability to, you know, their cognition with their memory, with their ability to have directions, their ability for spatial orientation. Anything that really, you know, involves the work of the brain is is really up for play with the disease.
Now, you know, Todd had mentioned that his mother had passed away from the disease at, what did you say, 67?
66.
66
She was 63 when we realized she had the disease, and it progressed really fast on her, which, you know, wasn't, I mean, to me that's awful young, but at that time I had spoken to the gentleman that has retired now, I guess you took his place. He's told me that, I think it was right here in Winter Haven, or Lakeland, that there was a guy, he was in his 70s, and his 47-year-old son was in the bed next to him, and he had the disease. And it is hereditary, you know, from what they're saying. And my grandfather had it, which was my mom's dad, my grandmother, her mom, I said, then my mom got it. I mean, she's three of four siblings, but so far the rest of her siblings have been great. But I'm three of four, you know, so kind of scary, you know.
Chris, is that those ages? I mean, do you see a wide variety of what is the norm to actually experience here?
Well, it's like Todd was saying. Excuse me. It's not something that is primarily affects someone in their 60s. We consider it, you know, the genetic side from under 65. More or less really into the 50s is when we really see the genetic side of it. And then we have those, it starts to go up in risk as far as with age. And over 85, it's 1 in 2.
Oh, wow. 1
in 2. And for a lot of those families that have that, you know, family pattern with the disease, you know, there is some, you know, types of patterns. We don't know what exactly is going on with that yet, but again, you know, this is really what, you know, this poker run is for, is to provide, you know, research dollars to get us some answers.
Now, your chapter, the Gulf Coast chapter, what is, if you have somebody that is experiencing symptoms of Alzheimer's, what should they do?
Very first thing is if you're able to get to a neurologist, get to a neurologist. Primary cares are very excellent, but we'd really want to get that person to a neurologist who will have the diagnostic tools to be able to fully inspect what's going on with that person's cognition. It's really the most proper way to go.
What and I'm sure that you have those references and things if they were to contact. What is your contact?
We're, as far as our telephone number.
Yes.
It's 863-292-9210. Our programs and our services are at no cost to the public.
Excellent.
Which is really nice in an area where, you know, a lot of caregivers are, you know, giving a lot of money out of pocket. You know, throughout the United States, we're looking at $200 billion out of pocket.
Now, with Alzheimer's being such a, I guess you could say, a prevalent disease, especially here in Polk County with an aging population. Right. Something like this, raising funds for education and awareness and services, is huge.
Absolutely.
And you know, putting together a poker run like this, I'm sure, trying to make it a successful event and getting together all of your sponsors and everybody that's involved with this, all of the stops and locations, I'm sure that's a huge task. And I'm going to bet you that Lynn has a lot to do with that.
Yes, she does.
Lynn, tell us a little bit about what has gone into putting this poker run together.
It takes many, many hours of sitting at the computer and just giving your heart and soul to it. You got to be totally dedicated to the cause to make it happen. And I listen to what everyone says and take in consideration what they want to see and what they want their day to be.
As far as volunteers go, I'm sure, you know, you've got all these different locations. There's got to be a good many volunteers involved with the poker run.
We have a lot of volunteers. Most of them is the week of and the day of, because there's only one person who can sit at my computer and do the background work.
During the poker run, now this is going to be on in March.
Yep, March 23rd.
March 23rd. Yep. And you're going to go to a bunch of different locations.
Yes.
Now, you've given me a list of these locations.
Right.
Can you read those off there?
Sure. We started out registration that morning, which is a Saturday morning, from 9 to 11 at X-Tex in Winter Haven off of Spirit Lake Road. And then our first actual stop will be at Scales and Tails, which is over in Haines City. It's a fairly new place, just opened up. Beautiful facility right on the lake. Very nice place. Then Liar's Lair. It's out at Camp Mac in Lake Wales. And then the Avengers Clubhouse in Lake Wales. They're our local motorcycle chapter. Very, very good guys. They give a lot of their money that day. That half that they take in that day, they give it back to the Alzheimer's. So those guys are fantastic. And then High Seas in Winter Haven, and then we end back up at the American Legion in Winter Haven every year since we've been doing it. And we have a band there that day from 3 to 5. They get back, we have full pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, pasta salad. I mean, the whole works. So they get to, and at X-Tex that morning, we'll have breakfast for them: sausage, gravy, and biscuits, coffee and juice. We also have water and danishes. That's all free. The Sons of the American Legion pay for all that and kick it in. And then those guys, they help us out a lot too with leg work and other things around that we needed to get done that day. So.
Now, I had kind of alluded to this in the introduction there. The biking community, you know, I think there's a lot of stereotypes maybe that need to be overcome. But I've come to know the biking community as a very compassionate group of individuals, men and women that are just not only passionate about their bikes and about riding, but about doing things for the community, benefiting the community.
Yes, very much so. They will pour their heart and soul into it. Which
is why these poker runs are such a great idea.
Yeah.
And it's a group of people that will show up.
Right.
You know, whether it's drizzling or raining or whatever it might be, they're going to show up.
That's
and
right.
They're gonna raise some money.
Yep.
But you don't have to be a biker.
No. Not. I'm trying to raise money for Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. You know, I tell people all the time, every year, they say, "Oh, well, I don't have a bike." Well, you don't have to have a bike. You can ride a car. And on this, the way we do ours is different from most poker runs, because what you do on most poker runs, you draw a card at every stop.
Right.
Well, being on poker runs in the past, and I've even done it myself. We'd be standing there talking, and then at like the third stop, I'd say, "Well, what do you got for cards?" "Well, I got 2 aces and a king." "Well, I got 2 twos. You've got me beat."
Yeah.
I got a honeydew list I can go home and do, and I donated my time, my money. I know I'm not going to win, but I can go ahead and drop out of this thing. Right. But we have them draw all their cards at the American Legion. That way, they're not out there halfway through the run going, "Hey, what do you got? Hey, what do you got?" Nobody knows what you have. And that way I get everybody back to the Legion, because I got a whole lot of barbecue I want to give away too. Yeah. So I want to make sure they eat. They, everything happens. And like I say, the American Legion that day is open to the public. Anybody can show up. You can pay your $15 right there, play your whole poker hand, right there at the Legion. You really don't have to go on a ride if you want to come out and support the cause. You can still do it. And
the $15 includes the lunch.
$15 includes your breakfast and your lunch, and at X-Tex and all, and and your hand, which is the best hand pays $1,000, worst hand pays $500.
So you're going to get some breakfast too, then?
Oh yeah, at X-Tex, you'll have breakfast that morning if you're
Excellent.
there. Yep.
Now, Ling, you had told me that there were also going to be some other prizes that were being given away, not only for the best hand, but some other things.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about.
We have 8 baskets, and we have them all donated. None of them under $150 in value. I think the most expensive one this year is $400 in value.
Wow.
And what you do is you buy your raffle tickets, they give them to you, and you can go along and put them in whichever one you want to try to win.
So this is in addition to the poker run.
Yes.
You can do the raffle.
Yeah. We'll have a 50-50 that day also. They can, like I said, we're just trying to figure out a way to, we'll have a dunk tank. This is something new this year. We've got a dunk tank this year.
Dunk the biker, right?
Yeah. So I've got to be back, and Chris has volunteered to get in a dunk tank too.
There we go.
And our commander at the Legion.
Yeah, our commander from the Legion, he's going to get in. We should be able to make it. We have a jail and bail every year too, where you pay like $2 to put somebody, or $1 to put somebody in jail, and they got to get $2 to get out.
The cheapest bail.
Right. So,
well, let's just kind of go over some of the details again.
Okay.
Date, registration, cost, all that stuff.
The March 23rd. From our registration that morning will be from 9 to 11. It's at X-Tex in Winter Haven.
How long do you expect the poker run to last?
Last bike's in at 4 o'clock. We're usually done by 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from about 9 at registration to between 4.
Yeah.
4 o'clock, and then
Yeah,
you're
last bite's
stuffing
in.
yourself full of barbecue for
Right,
an hour.
right, yeah. And like I said, we got a band that's going to be there from 3 to 5, and then usually when the band finishes up, it takes us about an hour to go through the baskets and everything, give all that stuff away, and then we present the check to the Alzheimer's Association there at the end.
Excellent.
But, yeah, we do have contact numbers.
Okay.
You can contact my wife, 863-412-9281. Or you can contact myself at 863-412-9198. We have a website that you can go on to and check it out. It tells you all the history about why we do what we do. It's memorypokerrun.com. Yeah.
Well, guys, this is a terrific event, and I know that you guys are going to be successful, just like you have years in the past. The key right now is to get the word out.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely.
Get the word out.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on and telling us about it, and I look forward to seeing you there.
All right.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's the Memory Poker Run. This is so important. Fighting against the disease of Alzheimer's, and such a prominent disease in our community. We need to do something. So raising funds to help fight this disease is a great step. But we need your help. We need you to show up to these events and participate. So this is going to be happening on March 23rd. It's going to start at X-Tech in Winter Haven, where you can register. It's going to cost $15. That includes the breakfast before you go on the ride, and then the barbecue when you get finished. And it's just going to be a great day, hanging out with a bunch of great people, having a good time, and raising money for a good cause. Lots of stuff going on. $1,000 grand prize for the poker run. And then you can also enter into the raffle to win one of the great prize baskets that they're going to have there. All kinds of stuff that you can go home with. But most of all, go home with the pride of knowing that you've helped a great cause. You can contact Todd at 863-412-9181, or you can call Lynn at 863-412-9281. They have a website that you can visit at memorypokerrun.com.